later on in that night, I went to the restroom. Well, I had a belt on. So when I got up to buckle my belt back, something grabbed my belt
What?
and flung it off of me across the room,
Whoa.
like ripped it off my body.
So what did you do? Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week of Quest, a journey into true crime and the paranormal. My name is Misti Gaither, and I am your host. And as you can tell from my tie, it is carnival season here in New Orleans, so I thought that I would bring a little of that to the show and wear a Mardi Gras tie. So I have a very, very special guest and friend that's here. Comes all the way from the great state of Louisiana, from a town called Lafayette. And we're going to talk about her role in creating a paranormal team and going out on investigations. And not only that, we're going to talk about like your day job. And it's really interesting. And when I had found that out about you, I was like, you know what? I'm really going to enjoy talking to you about that. So, first of all, Bernadine Richardson is my guest, and she is the founder of the Louisiana State Paranormal Research. And tell me about that, because you've had that going on for a while.
Since 2008, I had founded the team then. Before that, I was on a couple of other teams. That's probably when the big blow up of paranormal teams had started. I was on those couple of teams, and then I founded my own team 2008.
Yeah, it seems like it. And so, tell me some of the investigations that you went on, especially in your area, because on the show we talk a lot about New Orleans, and everybody knows how New Orleans is just way haunted, and we have so many haunted hotels and homes and convents and everything that you can think of. But I'm here to also shine a light on some other haunted places in the state of Louisiana and what we have going on in Lafayette.
Actually, in a town outside of Lafayette that's
Okay.
called Abbeville.
Okay.
But we've done a lot of investigations, New Orleans, Lafayette. We've done a lot of homes because we help people. But we've also done businesses, which we've got a lot of good evidence from, like hotels, and even the city hall here used to be a hotel back in the 1800s. We did that a couple of times. We have that one actually, it's 4 stories
Mm-hmm.
high, but they only use the bottom floor because the top floors are haunted. They
So,
actually still have some of the original carpet flooring. It's mostly cement,
mm-hmm.
and the people that work there are scared to go upstairs.
That is pretty cool because, I mean, to be asked to go and investigate like a government, even though it would be a local government facility, for them to admit that they have evidently a haunting or something, I mean, that's a big deal.
They have it was the Audrey Hotel back
Mm-hmm.
in the 1800s. It was the first hotel, which was like a house. Then they tore that down, built the Audrey Hotel when the town first, started building all these locations and stuff. But across the street is our courthouse.
Okay.
And where the courthouse stands is across from the old Audrey Hotel, which is City Hall now. It was the gallows way
Oh.
back when. So they hung people there. So I think, and then at the hotel, they had deaths there, of course. It's a big hotel
Mm-hmm.
way back then. But who mostly haunts it is Miss Audrey. She is the owner of the Audrey Hotel. So when we went in, we were asking questions to her, and she wouldn't really talk to us,
Mm-hmm.
but she would talk to a man. And back then, it was
Oh.
mostly women on my team. So
Right.
she didn't communicate with us, but I had a detective with me. And he was really interested in it. So I let him tag along on the investigation. And she actually spoke to him, and we heard it with our ears.
So it was like a disembodied voice?
Correct.
Oh.
Like we were the only ones on that floor.
Okay.
The only two people on that floor, and this is all cement. Even the stairs are cement.
So that would be like kind of tie into the stone, what do they call that? The stone theory of how that it's held in and it just like replaced, but then really it wouldn't be a residual
It's like
because
she was in the room with us.
Yeah, so I'm saying it's not residual because if she said something to
Not
y'all,
residual.
yeah,
Right.
She answered intelligent. Yeah,
he asked a question and she answered it.
Yeah.
I asked a question, she didn't answer it.
She was like, "Oh no, I'm just talking to the men." How about that?
So that kind of freaked him out. But we have quite a few places here that are known haunted places, and we also have a bed and breakfast that's pretty popular here. But it got sold quite a few times, and it's very old. It's the Caldwell House.
Okay.
And I have a lot of my best Class A EVPs from that place.
Well,
and going in, we didn't hear a lot. Well, as many investigations as you've been on, you can sit in a place for hours and hours and hours and not feel anything, not see anything, not hear anything. So you don't think you have anything. But then you go home and you go through your evidence and your video and your audio. And we it's like they were right there. Well, they were right there in the room with us, but I have actual sentences.
Oh.
I guess it's Mr. Caldwell. I don't know who the man is, but he sounds like an older fella, his voice does. And he says, we're asking questions. Well, we're not feeling like we're getting any responses, but he says, you keep calling me loud.
Oh. So he got kind of aggravated at
kind of ticking him off.
Right.
We don't go in provoking or anything like that.
Oh, no. That's, that makes me nervous when people act, when they go into an investigation and provoking and I mean, there is some, I guess you can do that's not, but some teams take it to the extreme and really, I'm just like, oh, that's not good in my opinion.
I've trained my team not to do that. Because, I tell them, you don't know a person screaming at a child spirit. You don't know that, because you can't see them. So if something moves or, you hear something and you start provoking at it, you could be screaming at a child, a baby.
Yeah, you don't know. You really don't. Let me ask you this, Bernadine. Now, you were saying that you started your team back in 2008. Let's think of how, like when you started off and everything, like the equipment that you had compared to what is now used.
REM pod and
all REM pod, Ovilus, just the SLS camera, the apps. Like what did y'all use back then? I mean, that's like 15. That's been a while ago.
In 2008, we probably experimented with the flashlights and pendulum. We had dowsing rods back then, which we got pretty good, at using with the spirits. But we didn't have the electronic devices we have now. We did have the EVP recorders, the voice recorders back then.
Right.
So we just had basic things, but you use your intuition and your instinct also.
Yeah. Do you think
your feelings? Because some people are more sensitive than others.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And do you think sometimes that having all the equipment that we have now kind of takes away from that?
I'd rather use my own intuition, but some people can't feel like I can,
Right.
Some people just can't. They don't feel the energy of the spirits. I can feel the presence of a spirit. If a spirit's standing on my right side, I can feel it on my right side. If it's standing on my left side, I can feel it on my left. Behind me, I could feel it all up my back, kind of like the chills, like in that area, just that area. Your hair stands on end. Well, if it's on my right side, from my feet all the way up to my head, I get the chill just on that side. So everybody feels and senses a spirit's presence differently. That's just how I do. Now, if it's something bad, negative, I'm not going to say demonic because everybody thinks it's a demon. But
Right.
if it's a negative energy, I can feel it in my stomach. If it's
Mm-hmm.
something really, really bad, I get nauseous. I went into an investigation one time, and they had like one of those closet mirrors.
Yes.
The door is a mirror. It was
Mm-hmm.
in a mobile home.
Yes.
So every time I walked in front of that mirror, I'd get instantly nauseous. I'd get away from the mirror, it would go away. I'd go back in front of the mirror, it was the same thing. So I'm also partially skeptic. Also, I want to make sure I can debunk it before I can say anything is haunted. So I start looking for a breaker box because high EMF will cause nausea.
Yes.
So if there would be a faulty breaker box in that room near that closet area or in the closet area, I'd probably rule it out. But there wasn't. Later on in that night, I went to the restroom. Well, I had a belt on. So when I got up to buckle my belt back, something grabbed my belt
What?
and flung it off of me across the room,
Whoa.
like ripped it off my body.
So what did you do?
Scream.
Scream. Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't scream at the thing, whatever it
Right.
was. I screamed for the owner. What the heck you got going on over here?
Right. Wow. Quest, a journey into true crime and the paranormal, is sponsored by the following. Chef Ron's Gumbo Stop right in Metairie. If you want award-winning gumbo, well, you need to go to an award-winning chef, Chef Ron, and has the best gumbo and just so many different things on his menu: jambalaya, fried chicken, po' boys. Believe me, you won't leave there hungry because it's really a great place to eat. We are also sponsored by the Haunted Hotel on Ursulines. And if you would like to go and stay at a haunted place, go to hauntedhotelnola.com and book your room. And believe me, you will not be disappointed. Because I have personally stayed there a few times overnight, and yeah, it's definitely haunted. Make sure you mark your calendars for March the 23rd. New Iberia is having their very own Paracon. It's called Cajun Country Paracon. We are also a sponsor of their Paracon, and you'll be able to come, and we'll be up there. We'll have a table. They have a lot of big name paranormal people in the paranormal field, paranormal stars, celebrities. You really won't want to miss that. You can go on to Eventbrite and they have a few VIP tickets left, and that way you can go on to a investigation that night with a paranormal celebrity. So I'm really looking forward to that. And also, Louisiana Pizza Kitchen Uptown, every Wednesday is Friends and Family Night. My favorite is all adult beverages are half off, even bottles of wine. So, I mean, it's Carrollton and St. Charles. You don't want to miss it. It's a wonderful place. They're even open on Sundays and have mimosas and Bloody Marys. So be sure to check out Louisiana Pizza Kitchen Uptown. And Area 51 Gallery, Rocket, he makes these pins. He can make your business merch, anything that you need, something for your crew, your business. Be sure to reach out to Rocket at Area 51 Gallery. So what do you do to protect yourself?
We say prayers
Mm-hmm.
before we get started. We ask the angels to protect us and surround us with the white light, the Holy Spirit, and we all surround, hold hands and we say our prayers for protection when we get there and when we leave, because we don't want them to follow us home. So we add that clause in
Right.
our prayer
Yeah.
because
Do
we've had
not.
things follow us home before.
Oh, yeah,
I
me too. I'd always forget I'd do the protection before, but then I would
Mhm.
forget to do the protection like before I would leave home, when I would get
Well,
through with
Misty,
it.
I
Yeah.
actually have, and people laugh at me, but I have Saint Benedict's exorcism prayer in Latin on my back, this big
What?
on my back, and I have holy water in the ink.
Well, I've never heard of that before. That is
So my
cool.
behind's protected, I think,
I
you
think you're
know.
good. And I mean, you're set. You got the holy water, you got this Saint Benedict the prayer, and
Mhm.
you're good to go. You don't need all the
Yeah.
other stuff.
Well, I don't think I'll get possessed, not with that on me.
I don't think so. I never had thought about that, and I get tattoos. I have several tattoos, but I sure didn't think about putting holy water in it. That's pretty cool.
Hmm.
Oh
It
goodness.
hurt too.
Oh, no
Yeah.
doubt, no doubt that hurt. Let's talk about your day job for a moment, and then we can get back into the paranormal. But when I found
Mhm.
this out about you, I just thought it was really different and really cool at the same time. So I'm going to let you say the word Desairology. Is that right? Is that how you say it?
Desairology.
Okay. And that is a licensed cosmetologist who does hair and makeup on the deceased.
Yes.
And that's what you do.
I'm
And
actually on call for that.
yeah, that is an important part of the process because unfortunately, sometimes, as like the bodies may not be presentable for the family to see, depending on circumstances. And then it is your job or your calling to go and try to make them presentable as much as you can so that the family can have closure. Is that correct?
And I go by a photo
Mm-hmm.
because I do women, because men, the mortician does, there's not much to do to a man
Mm-hmm.
makeup wise. I do the hair, makeup, and nails.
Mm-hmm.
I go by a photograph. The family will give the funeral director the photograph of how they'd like them to look before they were ill or however they passed. And I go by that. And I've never had any complaints yet.
Well, that's good. How long you been doing this?
Oh gosh, I started probably in my 20s.
So a
So I've
while.
been doing it a long time.
Well, do you remember like the very first one that you did? Like how you felt, or did you just? I mean, how? I
Can't
personally, I
remember the
wouldn't
first one I
know.
did, but I did my grandmother,
Oh,
my ex-husband's grandmother. I do family. I did my mother.
now
So I
how do
do
you do
family,
that?
friends, and people that call me from wherever.
Now, how do you prepare yourself to do that? Because that to me that would be hard. Your mom, you fixed your mom and family members. Like, what do you do that kind of makes you separate? You have to separate yourself, I guess.
I do the exact same thing I do when I do a paranormal investigation.
Mm-hmm.
I walk into it like a job.
Okay.
Because if you walk into a paranormal investigation and you have all these emotions, keeps you open to attachment.
Right.
So or bringing something home, or even worse, mental problems. So when I walk into an investigation, just like I walk into doing someone's hair, makeup, and nails that's laying on a slab, even if they're kin to me, when I go in there, I prefer to be alone.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the funeral directors, think that I'm going to be afraid or I'm going to be emotional, which it's not easy, especially if it's your loved one. But you want them to look good because that's the whole reason you're there.
Now, has there been anyone that that you tried to maybe make presentable and it just didn't happen, or have you always been able to to
No,
do that?
I've actually never had any problems. The only thing that I kind of thought was funny was blue eyeshadow, like 20 years ago.
Right.
Because we didn't wear blue eyeshadow 20 years. We did when I was a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, are you sure? Because it was for an elderly lady. It was baby blue eyeshadow. I said, I don't think I want to do that. I don't want people mad at me,
Right.
They're like, that's her makeup and that's what she wore and that's what we're requesting. I'm like, okay.
There you go. I just think that's just a part of, like I said, what you do is part of the whole process, and helping the family with closure, and just, because I don't know anyone else that personally that does that service. And so I believe that you would have to have, I call it a special calling, because it would be something like that for you to be able to do that. I don't think it would be something just anybody could handle and be sensitive and, dedicated to that.
Just like the funeral directors, embalmers, people like that. I mean, they still have to do their family and friends. They can't pick and choose,
Right.
But when I'm called out, it's to different funeral homes, but you have to be a licensed cosmetologist to work in a facility. People have somebody in their family that's a cosmetologist that they have do their loved ones. So I don't get called a whole lot, but the people that know me, that want me to do their relatives, and some people, elderly people, already request me before they pass.
So like when they do the planning, they pre-plan, and then they say,
like, when I die,
I want Bernadine
to do my hair, my
stuff.
makeup, and I want my nails done like this, and I don't want this, and don't listen to this person if they say this. And I'm like, okay. Yeah.
Hey, I guess that's good, because it kind of goes with like picking out music, and you want to, I guess this is bad, but leave with a good impression. Like you want people to look at you, and you want it to be as natural as what possibly
and that's what I
can
try
be.
to work towards, because there's some things you have to do in that profession that if you don't know, like say your fingernails, okay, when you pass, when your blood's out and all that, it turns purple. Your skin's a different color, your under your nails are a different color. So if I go to put fingernail polish on, I'm going to use like an iridescent color that enhances or kind of blends in with the purple under the nail. Some people go in and do their loved one, and they did it out of love, but they didn't know what they were doing makeup wise. Putting regular foundation that we use on live people, what foundation is, the base makeup that you put before everything else.
Yes.
Well, if you use that type of stuff on cold skin, which your skin is cold when you die, it's going to look like mud, because you need heat to blend that type of thing. So the makeup you buy in the store is not the same kind of makeup they use at a funeral home. Foundation wise, a lot of them they airbrushed, and they try to match the skin tone of when the person was alive, because you're a lot lighter when you die.
True.
And your nails are a different color. They put little caps in your eyes because your eyes sink in. They wire things in your mouth. They have to put things in all the open holes so the embalming fluid and stuff doesn't leak out. There's just a lot that goes into it.
Right. It's a lot that
to be presentable.
Right. Like us, the general public, like you wouldn't know like those things. Well, let's drop back to the paranormal real quick, and I had a special question for you, and that was, what's on your bucket list of anywhere, let's just say in the United States, that you haven't investigated but you would love to go?
I would love to go to Waverly Hills.
Yes.
I've never been there.
Oh my God, yes.
I've never been there.
Me
That's
too.
Louisville, Kentucky.
Right.
But number one on my bucket list that's not in the United States is Pavelia Island. Pavelia Island's in Venice, Italy.
Yes. Now that would be totally interesting, because it's like abandoned, the whole island, right? It's where they used to put people who had the plague on this island, and then they cremated so many people that it's so
the whole
thick.
Island's haunted. It was a mental hospital first.
Right.
And then when the tuberculosis and the Black Plague came out, they would send people by boat to the hospital on the island. Well, the people that worked there and everybody on that island can never leave once they're there. So once you're there, whether you're a nurse or doctor, you're there, you can't come back into civilization. So everybody had to die there. And they have mass graves and kind of almost the same thing as Waverly Hills Sanitarium.
Well, see, now you got my wheels turning because I forgot about Proviglia Island. No, seriously, I forgot about that. Oh, yeah, that would be good. Waverly Hills is the mecca of, I think everybody would love to go to Waverly Hills. I know it's on my bucket list too, and along with 15 other things. But so, I mean, are you still investigating as a group, or are y'all yes? So what y'all have anything coming up, or do y'all do like the like where people come and hunt with you? Do y'all do any of those like meet and greet type investigations?
We haven't in a while since COVID. So we have plans to go and do. I'm trying to get into some businesses. I really like to do those.
Yeah.
The haunted businesses. To me, that's, more fun and has history and all. I mean, we still like to help people.
Yes.
But you kind of have to draw the line sometimes, when it comes to going in people's houses. So I take the most serious cases, especially if it's involving children. I try to take those cases. But yeah, we've had a lot of crazy calls in our day. So some we have to turn down, and then some are just out there, like totally out there. I had one, and I laugh about that one. I had this lady called me, and she was so serious. And she was in New Orleans.
Oh.
Don't know who she is, but she called me, and somebody gave her my number. She's like, I need you to come to my house because I have this crazy thing going on. I'm like, well, okay, explain to me what's going on. When I wake up in the morning, my dishes are done. And what's the problem?
Right. I'm waiting on the problem too. I'm like, how can we get this ghost going?
I'm serious. And she got mad at me. She's like, I'm serious. I'm like, do the dishes before you go to bed. She's like, no, I'm serious. You're not taking me serious. I'm like, oh, how serious you want me to take you, lady? I said, why don't you just send your spirit to my house?
Right.
And I will not have to do dishes anymore. So she got mad at me and hung up.
Right. That was interesting,
So,
I guess, huh?
It started off like she was really, she was serious, but how can I take that serious?
Looks like she'd want, if it was true, looks like she would want that spirit to stay.
Yes, she thought a spirit was doing her dishes while she was asleep.
Okay. Well, where can people, contact you if they want to, come and, find out more about LSPR and, where can they reach you at?
It's LSPR-Society. It's the Louisiana State Paranormal Research Society. We have a Facebook page and the LSPR-Society. They can message me there or go to my personal page and message me under Bernadine Richardson.
Well, you know what? I have enjoyed getting to see you again, even though it's not in person, but, it's been a while. And I really appreciate you being a guest on my show tonight. And I hope that you'll come to the Cajun Country Paracon in New Iberia in March. It's going to be a lot of cool people there and, would love for you to drop by.
I will go and I will see you there.
Okay.
Also, you can find me and Eileen Castanio on the Supernatural Substation.
Yes, and I was a guest on y'all's show, and that's a really good show. Y'all have a wonderful guest on there. So y'all be sure
I'm the producer and co-host, and Eileen is the host of the Supernatural Substation. We have a YouTube channel, and we have some great guests also.
Yes, y'all do. Substation. So y'all be sure to go on Supernatural Substation and like the videos and subscribe. And again, thank you so much for being on the show, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thanks for having me.
All right, you have a good night. All right, everybody, and that was Bernadine Richardson of Louisiana State Paranormal Research Society, and it was such a honor to have her as a guest on my show. And you know what? I will see you next week here on Quest. Good night.